Passing the Azores, some 100 miles to the east of São Miguel Island, Britain's Alex Thomson leads the Vendee Globe fleet this afternoon on HUGO BOSS. He moved south away from his closest rivals on the water early this morning, choosing a time when he thought they would be at their most tired, perhaps resting, to slide away. Pacing himself against the newest generation of foilers, like his HUGO BOSS, he is 13 miles up on Thomas Ruyant in Linked Out and Charlie Dale in Apivia as the lead group slides south on the western side of a low-pressure system, described today as a baby low, when compared with tropical low theta which lies in wait for them from tomorrow Friday. 5 days into the race, and the head of the fleet comprises a slightly unexpected mix of the latest foilers intertwined with older generation non-foiling boats, such as sailed by the wily 61-year-old Jean Le Cam on his 5th Vendee Globe, and lying second to Thompson, who is also on his 5th race. Thompson has been no stranger to adversity over his 16 years chasing his holy grail, victory, in the Vendee Globe. And so his message of solidarity today for French title favourite Jeremy Boyer, who had to U-turn back to La Sable-d'Olonne with rig and rudder damage yesterday, came from the heart. Bayou is expected to reach La Sable on Saturday. His team will make an immediate evaluation of the repairs required and ensure they have the logistics in place.
Et ce qui est dur en fait, c'est la décision de faire demi-tour. C'est que tu lâches, tu es forcé de renoncer sur quoi tu t'es concentré pendant 4 ans de préparation. Donc forcément sur le coup c'est hyper dur, c'est pas plus simple maintenant, mais sur le retour tu te concentres à qu'il n'arrive pas plus d'avaries que tu en as à bord, de collisions éventuelles, là à l'arrivée au ponton. Tu communiques avec l'équipe sur les façons de réparer, etc. Donc tu te concentres un peu sur autre chose. Maintenant c'est sûr que de voir là tout le monde à l'arrivée, ça remet une grosse dose d'émotion. C'est pas facile à gérer parce que tu aimerais être partout sauf là, quoi. Et c'est vrai qu'il y a des gens, mais voilà, c'est un peu triste quand même, quoi. Donc, voilà, ça donne de l'énergie, mais c'est pas évident à gérer.
Tes yeux en témoignent là. Hein.
Bon ouais, je crois que n'importe qui serait pas insensible à ce qui se passe. Voilà, et puis encore une fois, la course s'arrête, quoi. Alors il y en a peut-être certains vont dire c'est que du sport, mais bah, c'est du sport quoi. Moi j'ai tout mis là-dedans depuis 4 ans ou plus, quoi. Donc ouais, le coup d'arrêt il est quand même très brutal. Voilà, le début de course ça n'a pas été facile, hein, donc pour personne, hein, pour moi mais évidemment, mais pour personne, et c'est sûr que là les gars qui sont en mer et les filles sont plus méritants parce que c'était vraiment un début de course un peu compliqué stratégiquement, le front il était quand même bien violent, donc voilà, tu avais envie de sortir de là, et là ils en sont sortis, ils méritent, ils vont retrouver des bons portants, c'est vraiment mérité. Ils ont réussi à passer, c'est vraiment tous les grands marins. Je pense qu'il faut pas s'attarder sur mon cas, mais le principal c'est les gens qui sont encore en course, et ceux qui sont en course méritent vraiment de l'être. Et voilà, mais c'est vrai que j'aurais aimé être avec eux, j'aurais aimé être. Je vois Alex là, qui a pris la tête, qui m'a envoyé un message super sympa ce matin. Voilà, c'est vrai que j'aurais aimé avoir ma petite bagarre contre lui, contre les autres aussi, mais voilà, tout ça c'est du passé. Voilà, le message d'Alex, Armel, Fabrice qui m'ont envoyé un message, et puis tous les gens de la Terre, tous les salariés chez Charal, mon équipe, je ne cite même pas, mais et puis tout le public, c'est assez incroyable, mais ouais, c'est incroyable.
French skipper Nicolas Troussel, who was lying in 7th place in the Vendee Globe, has dismasted on Coram Elepan this morning. He was racing south, in brisk northeasterly trade wind conditions, some 260 nautical miles northwest of the Cape Verde Islands. Troussel, 46, was not injured, and is in the process of securing the boat, before further assessing the situation. The Vendee Globe continues to produce the unexpected. This morning Jean Le Cam has taken the lead on Yes We Can, by virtue of his easternmost position among the leading group. He has a 4-mile advantage over Alex Thomson on HUGO BOSS, who is 60 miles to windward of him. The westernmost skipper in the leading group is Charlie Dalin on Apivia. He is nearly 200 miles northwest of Le Cam, and is ranked down in 12th place, 133 miles off the lead, as the top boats begin to lose the influence of tropical storm theta. Skippers today expressed their admiration for Thompson's race so far. He has mastered the start of this race perfectly with his ingenious, efficient and well-prepared boat, commented guest of the Vendee Live French show this afternoon. Alex is going to take the fast train south, and that can quickly turn into a big lead, notes Thomas Ruyant from 4th place, linked out at over 120 miles behind Thompson. And Alex is hungry for it, but so am I. One of the pre-race favourites, Charlie Dalin, in 6th at 168 miles adrift of HUGO BOSS, wants to stay in the match, but acknowledged. My decision to move out west was because the storm was too early on into the race to take any risks, and I did the calculation of what I could afford to lose, and try and make up. Alex went full on in the theta depression, and that can give him to make a big margin. At the Port Alona pontoon in La Sab d'Ilon, the technical team of experts have been working round the clock on board Charles, the damaged IMOCA of Jeremy Bayou, aiming to have it ready for Bayou to return to the course. Japanese skipper Koji Shiraishi has managed to lower his damaged mainsail on his DMG Mori, and is evaluating the options to repair the tear.
HUGO BOSS is making slow speeds, as it sails down the race course early this morning after Alex Thomson's team last night alerted the race direction of the Vendee Globe to a possible structural issue on board Thomson's black and pink IMOCA, when it was lying in 2nd place, racing 800 miles east of Rio de Janeiro. The British skipper has reduced speed to lessen the loading on the boat, while a solution was being sought in consultation with the designer's VPLP and engineers. He alerted his team of his concerns at around 1900 hours UC last night, Saturday, and the Alex Thomson racing team issued a short statement which was published around midnight UTC. Since last night's 2100 hours rankings report, HUGO BOSS made 42 nautical miles overnight, averaging 6 knots, around half the speed of race leader Thomas Ruyant, linked out, and Charlie Dalin, Apivia, who passed about 23 nautical miles to windward of HUGO BOSS, around midnight, the French skipper taking over 2nd place in the race. The leading trio are racing in light, variable winds. Just before the alert was made to race direction, Thompson had been averaging around 16 knots, the forecast swell being around 1.7 meters. Overnight he has conceded around 30 miles to the leader Ruyant. More information will be shared during Sunday. The leaders are looking to wriggle through a zone of lighter, unsettled airs to reach the stronger conditions at the fringe of the Southern Ocean. Speaking at 0400 hours this morning, Charlie Dalin had not yet learned of his British rival's problem. I hope it's not too bad and the extent of the damage is limited. Most of all, I hope that this does not mean the end of the Vendee Globe for him. We are having a great race with him. Alex being part of this trio is very stimulating. Talking of the weather, Dalin said, I have the impression that I am reliving a doldrums passage, but it is even more bizarre. I found some pretty strange variable winds, sudden changes in direction and force. I really didn't expect that. I even got gusts from the northwest yesterday. This morning, the sea is flatter and there is a beautiful starry sky. It is beautiful. As the leaders slowed down in these light conditions, so there has been a small gain by the chasing group, Ruyant and Dalin making around 12 knots to 4th place, Jean Le Cam's overnight average of 14 knots, the gap reducing by some 25 miles to 274 this morning. Alex Thomson spoke to his team early this Sunday evening to give an update on his thoughts and progress as he seeks to repair a damaged longitudinal frame near the bow of HUGO BOSS. It was a bit of a shock at first, but obviously it could have been a lot worse. It's repairable and we're not yet in the Southern Ocean. The first part of the whole job is to report what's happened. It's much easier today with communications. So I call Ross, technical director, and he gets the right group of people together, the designers, the engineers, our team, and then they receive the information, and while that information is being digested by them, that's my time to sleep really. Knowing it was going to be a big job to get it all done, I got myself about 6 hours sleep so that I'd be ready. Then we started running through the repair plan so that I could fully understand it and ask the right questions. The first part of that was to stabilize the hull, so that involved some cutting, gluing and bolting. That's done now and it's been laminated. The next part is to get the rest of the repair prepped. I need to get all the materials together and do as much of the cutting now while it's still light. I've still got a couple of hours of light left, so I plan to get the cutting done, and then the rest of it doesn't matter because it's in the bow and it's dark in there anyway. It's really humid, it's pretty hard up there, in the bow. But we carry quite a lot of materials, underwater resin, glues that can deal with humid conditions, so the materials can deal with it quite well. I imagine a lot of teams don't carry as much as we do. I'm in a rhythm now, so I'll keep going for as long as I can. It's quite an intricate job, so I can't rush it and I need to make sure it's right. I'm disappointed obviously, but this is the Vendee Globe. This is what it entails. You've got to be able to deal with this stuff. This is why we carry these materials and tools, and why we're generally very good at being able to deal with these things. Normally I feel angry and sad and emotional, but I don't this time. I just need to get on with it. I'm sure at some point the emotions may go the other way, but, for now, there is only one thing to do, and that is to get the job done as best as I possibly can. I will do whatever it takes to stay in the race. Having been in second place in the 33 boat fleet during Saturday, averaging 16 knots at times and some 25 nautical miles behind leader Thomas Ryant, Thompson's pause had already cost him 150 miles on Ryant and Charlie Dallin, a Pivia, who passed into second 23 miles to windward of the British skipper around midnight last night. Supposing it takes Alex 24 hours to effect a repair and get going again, he would rejoin the chasing group with Archaea, Initiative's current PRB. He would lose quite a bit, as that would put him 1,000 miles behind at Cape of Good Hope. But I have been looking at the history of the race as well, and remember that last time, on the last race, he rounded Cape Horn 800 miles behind Armel Leclerc, and so I would not call this game over. Suggested Johan Richam, winner of the last Route du Rhum in Class 40 and double winner of La Solitaire du Figaro. Talking about the latest generation of fast foilers, Richam, renowned as a meticulous technician, explained, "These new boats are really tough to sail, they are really hard to engineer and are slamming into the waves with a lot of power, which is most likely happened to Alex. What is hard is that we know that they took their feet off the gas a little in the south on the last race to preserve the boats, and I think they will be doing that again. From the scenario we are seeing, they need to preserve the boats. When these boats start taking off, they were slamming the hulls a little bit further back, but now these boats are fully foiling, flying a lot of the time. It is now the bows which are hitting the waves in front, from 2 to 3 meters high at times, and the impact on the bows is huge, and we know a lot of the boats in France had reinforcements in the bow. We saw Coram, in September, have a 2-week repair in their bow. They are discovering new problems, and we are hoping they have covered off most of them. At 2 weeks since the race started off Les Sables on Sunday 8 November, there are many repairs, small and not so small, critical and almost incidental, that skipper need to make. Contemplating the descent into the Southern Ocean, race leader, Thomas Ryant, linked out, had to climb the 28-meter mast of his IMOCA after his spare halyard broke. The two leading IMOCAs, linked out and a Pivia, are side by side 10 miles apart, setting out on a jibing matchup as they drop southeastwards towards an area of unstable air, described by Dallin as a mouse hole, through which they must pass, to get to the Southern Ocean, and a fast ride east towards the longitude of the Cape of Good Hope. Now the Vendee Globe fleet stretches for more than 3,000 miles. Jeremy Bayou, in 32nd, has lengthened his stride in the south of the Canaries. Listening to the skippers on the daily calls or reading the messages sent from on board, whatever the age of the boat or its position on the Atlantic chessboard, every day brings its share of problems. Yesterday it was a weather vane for 9th-placed Sebastien Simon, today a composite repair on a part of the foil well for Armel Tripon on L'Occitan, and that week-long repair to the mainsail of the Japanese Kojiro Shiraishi. Big or small, the problems prevail through the fleet. Armel Tripon, the skipper of L'Occitan and Provence, reflects, the boats want to go fast, to chase their predicted speeds, and they are built for that, and the teams and the architects are pushing all the time to go fast. Now it's up to each of us to sail with our soul and our own peace of mind.
Hello, Bob. Back up here again, hopefully for the last time. Reinstate the caps so that around these big holes you can see the edges. They're the bits that are important apparently. So I'm going to put these very big girders in. You can see that. And that will replicate it. So everything. Now it's quite hard up here tonight because we're sailing upwind now. So it's much bumpier and much more difficult to work. Obviously, you could stop and do the job, but I've been using miles. I'm still losing some miles because I can't sail with full pressure with a foil or with ballast or even with a big sail, so I'm compromised anyway. That looks like it's going to work. So I'm going to cut them, I'm going to dry fit them, bolt them, take it off again. And then sand and prep, glue and bolt.